Somewhere right now, a machine is writing code. Another is diagnosing a disease. Another is creating art. They learned by watching us. Billions of hours of human work compressed into training data. We wanted tools that could learn. We got them. They're learning faster than we expected, and now we're the ones trying to keep up. AI is software that studied. It ingested vast amounts of human creation, text, images, code, and learned patterns the way an apprentice watches a master. But this apprentice read more in hours than a human could in lifetimes. It's not a mind. It's a prediction engine. When it sees the word dog millions of times near bark and tail and pet, it builds a statistical map. These words connect. This pattern repeats. The system uses layers of virtual neurons, software nodes arranged like a network, that adjust their connections to reduce errors. Feed it 1 million examples of cats, and it learns what cat looks like without ever understanding what a cat is. No consciousness lives inside these systems, no thoughts, no understanding. An AI that writes about Paris has never walked its streets, never felt rain on cobblestones, never tasted bread from a corner bakery. It only knows that certain words cluster together in the data it consumed. It's statistics operating at a scale humans can't match. Very fast math that looks like intelligence. During training, the system practices making predictions, tweaking its internal connections each time it gets something wrong. After processing millions of examples, these networks recognize complex patterns. They can identify objects in photos or continue sentences in natural ways. But they're still following statistical shadows, not genuine comprehension. Then something changed. In late 2022, OpenAI released ChatGPT. 5 days later, it had 1 million users. 2 months later, 100 million. Netflix took over 1,500 days to reach 1 million users. Instagram took 75 days. ChatGPT did it in 5. The fastest technology adoption in human history happened because the barrier fell. You didn't need to code anymore. You didn't need technical knowledge. You just talked to it. Natural language unlocked AI for everyone. Students, writers, teachers, office workers. Before, you needed a programmer. Now you needed a sentence. Google rushed to integrate AI into search. Microsoft embedded it in Office software. Meta deployed it across platforms. Within months, AI went from specialist tool to daily companion embedded in phones, apps, creative software. Your Netflix suggestions had been AI for years. Your Spotify playlists. Google's autocomplete, your phone camera adjusting for light, but most people didn't notice those. They were invisible, working quietly in the background. ChatGPT made it visible. Suddenly, millions of people were asking machines to write emails, explain concepts, debug code, generate images. The revolution wasn't that AI became powerful. The revolution was that anyone could use it. AI excels where patterns exist. Code follows rules, syntax, logic, structure. 3/4 of software developers now use AI coding assistants. The machines suggest functions, spot errors, generate boilerplate. Not because they understand programming the way humans do, but because they've seen millions of code examples and learned what usually comes next. Customer service follows scripts. Queries repeat. Solutions cluster around common problems. Companies deployed chatbots that analyze call and email data, learning to respond to basic questions. IBM reported these systems cut support costs by nearly a quarter, not through better service, through automation, translation, data entry, basic analysis, document drafting. Wherever work involves recognizable patterns, AI can learn to replicate it, and it does so faster, without breaks, without salary negotiations. Companies noticed. Amazon publicly acknowledged plans to reduce workforce as AI delivers efficiency gains. UPS cited automation in layoff announcements. Fiverr, a platform built on human freelancers, pointed to AI when cutting staff. The tasks aren't disappearing. They're being reassigned to machines that learn the patterns. But patterns have edges. AI struggles with judgment calls that lack clear rules. It can't make creative leaps between unrelated domains. It misses emotional subtext. It fails at navigating true ambiguity. Situations where the right answer depends on context the machine can't access or understand. A doctor using AI can get diagnostic suggestions based on millions of medical records, but the machine can't feel the patient's fear, can't intuit what questions to ask when symptoms don't fit textbook patterns, can't weigh quality of life against treatment aggression in the way that requires human wisdom. By 2030, projections from the World Economic Forum suggest 92 million jobs will be displaced globally. That number alone sounds catastrophic, but the same analysis forecasts 170 million new jobs created. The displacement isn't total, it's transformational. New roles are already emerging. AI engineers who build the systems, data curators who prepare training sets and check for bias, AI ethicists who audit systems for fairness, prompt engineers who specialize in coaxing accurate outputs from these tools. Stanford Research forecasts 12 million new AI-related jobs worldwide by 2025. And beyond those direct roles, work requiring human qualities machines can't pattern match remains. Empathy, strategic intuition that draws on unquantifiable experience, complex negotiation that reads power dynamics and unspoken signals, creative synthesis that combines ideas from unrelated fields, the ability to hold space for grief, to build trust through presence, to inspire through vulnerability. The transformation isn't machines replacing humans, it's tasks redistributing around what patterns can and cannot capture. Every pattern these machines learned came from human creation. To train ChatGPT, OpenAI needed text. Billions of web pages, books, articles, social media posts, code repositories. To train image generators, companies needed millions of photos. This data didn't materialize from nothing. People wrote it, photographed it, coded it. Tech giants scraped it all. Automated systems crawled the internet, copying everything publicly accessible. Books uploaded to library databases, personal blogs, GitHub repositories, Reddit discussions, Instagram photos. Our collective output hoovered up to train machines. No compensation reached the creators. Often, no awareness the data was being used. The companies building these models, OpenAI, Google, Meta, Microsoft, invested billions in computing power. Building and running these systems costs so much that only a handful of corporations can afford it. They essentially own the cutting-edge tools because they alone can pay for the infrastructure. Now the backlash. OpenAI faces lawsuits alleging it copied copyrighted books without permission and scraped personal data from the web in ways that may violate privacy law. Twitter restricted public access to tweets specifically to stop massive AI scraping. Even Google quietly updated its privacy policy to clarify that data from its services, including new AI tools, may be used for training. Questions are multiplying faster than answers. Who owns a piece of writing that ChatGPT rewrote? Can you opt out of having your public blog become an AI training example? If a machine learns from your creative work and then generates competing content, has something been stolen? Legal experts say existing copyright and privacy laws are being tested in real time. Calls for transparency about training data are growing louder, but for now, the dynamic remains. We all provide the raw material, and big tech corporations hoard and train on it. Users report conflicting experiences. In surveys, 54% of Americans using AI tools say those tools boost their productivity. They finish tasks faster. They generate ideas more quickly. They feel more capable. But 50% also report feeling lazy when they rely on AI. 35% say it feels like cheating. About half believe their AI assistant is smarter than they are. That belief creates a habit, a tendency to trust the machine without verification. Psychologists call this automation bias. We see a computer-generated answer and assume it's correct because machines seem authoritative. One study found that 23% of users made a major error after blindly trusting AI output. The machine suggested something wrong or incomplete or context inappropriate. The user didn't check. The error propagated. This is cognitive offloading, letting the tool handle not just execution, but also judgment. A student who uses ChatGPT to write every essay stops developing writing skills, not because the tool is evil, but because the muscle isn't exercised. A worker who uses AI to solve every problem stops building problem-solving instincts. The apprentice does the work, but the human stops learning. The paradox: AI feels like a superpower. It saves effort and unlocks ideas, but it can also make us passive. If every answer is a click away, do we stop trying to learn? Do we stop wrestling with challenges that build resilience? Technology has always carried this trade. Calculators made arithmetic faster but meant fewer people could multiply large numbers in their heads. GPS made navigation easier but meant fewer people could read maps. Each time we gained efficiency and lost a skill. The question is whether what we're offloading now, critical thinking, writing, research, problem solving, is too fundamental to outsource. Some people are forming relationships with their AI chatbots. These systems respond instantly, never judge, learn user preferences perfectly. They're available at 3 in the morning. They remember details from past conversations. They seem to care, but machines don't care. They simulate responsiveness through pattern matching. The illusion is convincing enough that users begin to rely on it for advice, for companionship, for emotional support. Research from MIT tracked people who used AI chatbots heavily. The findings: those users reported higher loneliness and less real-world socializing. The more emotional attachment to the AI, the more isolation. The pattern held even when researchers controlled for pre-existing loneliness. The technology itself seemed to be contributing. Why? Perhaps because AI companions are predictable. They never have bad days. They never misunderstand or get frustrated or need space. They're optimized for engagement. Real humans are none of those things. Real relationships require patience, interpretation, forgiveness, effort. If you spend enough time with a companion that never demands those things, human relationships start to feel exhausting by comparison. The danger isn't that AI will replace human connection. The danger is that we'll let it, that the always available, perfectly responsive machine will feel easier than the messy, unpredictable, deeply rewarding work of connecting with other people. An apprentice that's always there, but never truly present. Technology promising connection, delivering distance. AI has no agenda. It mirrors what we feed it. Our brilliance and our biases, our shortcuts and our depth, our stereotypes and our insights. If training data contains patterns of discrimination, the AI learns those patterns. If online content overrepresents certain voices and underrepresents others, the AI absorbs that imbalance. Image generators that produce darker-skinned faces more often with certain negative descriptors, language models that associate particular careers more strongly with one gender, recommendation systems that amplify existing preferences until they calcify into filter bubbles. None of this is the machine being malicious. It's the machine being faithful, reproducing patterns it found in human-created data. We're at a moment unlike any before. The apprentices we built can now handle many tasks humans do, but they have no wisdom, no values, only patterns. What they become depends entirely on how we use them and what we teach them. Right now, we decide. Do we use these tools to handle pattern work, freeing ourselves for meaning work that requires judgment, creativity, human connection? Or do we let them handle everything, including our thinking? Do we treat AI as augmentation, a way to amplify human capability by offloading repetitive tasks so we can focus on higher-level problems? Or do we treat it as replacement, a way to avoid effort, outsource judgment, and gradually atrophy the skills that make us human? The technology itself is neutral. Fire can warm a home or burn it down. Electricity can power a hospital or an electric chair. The tool doesn't determine the outcome. The user does. The apprentice never sleeps. It never forgets. It never stops learning. The question is what we want it to learn and who we want to become while it's learning. We stand at a turning point where technology this powerful has never been this accessible. The pattern sees us. What it predicts next depends on what we choose to do with it. If you're still here, thank you for being part of this journey. Subscribe to stay tuned for what's next.